Hey guys, I'm Mr. Mal 1000 and I'm here with Golden and the Fox.
It's a tragic day for me.
Okay, we are on fanfiction.net and we have found a fanfiction of Five Nights at Freddy's, and this person, Kurida Dovahkeen, has made one called Five Sexy Nights at Freddy's. So
it's gonna be so bad. Hang on.
So, okay, just close the door. Okay, so let's start reading. Okay. Mike Schmidt glanced around the dining area of the Freddys Pizzeria. It seemed like a nice enough place, if a bit messy. However, Mike had been here earlier, and there were a lot of families eating out, so the mess could only be attributed to lazy cleaners. He'd arrived a little earlier than his job required. He was a night guard, and would be on duty from midnight to 6 in the morning, because there was someone who wanted to talk to him about exactly what he had to do. Mike couldn't think what would be so important that he had to arrive early, though he'd been a night guard at other places before, and all a night guard had to do was make sure no burglars could get in. Although Mike would be surprised if anyone tried to rob a restaurant designed around children, even if it were a popular one. Mike jumped when he heard a door squeaking open and shut, and spun around only to see a mildly amused man stood a few feet behind him. That's a bit creepy. That paranoia might just come in useful. Lucius Yates remarked. Lucius was the other night guard, who worked from 7 to midnight, though he initially worked Mike's hours. I can't think why, Mike replied. Who would want to rob Freddy's Pizzeria? Lucius' expression became more serious. That's what I wanted to talk to you about. It's not keeping people out that you need to worry about. Mike cocked his brow. It's keeping people in.
I knew that.
I don't understand. You've met the Suits, haven't you? Mike nodded. The Suits was a nickname given to the workers whose jobs were to entertain the children, and they did so while dressed in animal suits. The namesake of the restaurant, Freddy Fazbear, was a bear suit, and inside was Frederick Kingsley, a tall, muscular man with brown eyes, tanned skin, and shaggy brunette hair. The part of Bonnie, a rabbit suit, was played by Benjamin Winters. Benjamin was of average height with a lithe build. His naturally black hair was dyed lilac and was mostly shaven, apart from a thick tuft running along the middle of his skull. His eyes were naturally blood red, supposedly a mutation of albinism. That is how I'm saying it, right? That also accounted for his pale skin. Chica, a chick suit, was played by rosy-skinned Ryan Charlie Pierce, who had a short and slightly chubby build. His hair was styled in a very neat bob that reached his jaw, and his eyes were both bright and icy. Foxy was available only to those who paid for special seats, and was played by Raphael McQueen, who was tall, somewhere between lithe and athletic, and had fair skin, long auburn hair, and emerald green eyes. I already know that they live here, Mike began, so I'm keeping an eye on them. Well, Lucius looked hesitant. The Suits have known each other since they were kids, and something happened to them some years ago that gave them the same problem. They're all a little mentally ill, and it manifests as sleepwalking, except it can get worse if they encounter someone other than each other. I know, it would have been nice if someone had told you when you signed up, Lucius chuckled, but there was a hint of nervousness in his voice. So, what do you mean by worse? Mike asked with uncertainty. They don't interact with each other, but at night, they get a little feral, for lack of a better word. They're motivated by their most basic desires, even if they were sated when they were conscious. Don't beat around the bush, just tell me what they do.
Who the fuck says that? I've never heard anyone say don't beat around the bush.
I actually have. If you let them overpower you, and let me tell you, they're stronger than they look. Even Charlie, they might force themselves on you, or even, Lucius gulped before continuing, if they're hungry, they might eat you alive. Mike's mouth fell open. It's only happened twice, so you'll probably be lucky. If they do force themselves on you, then they're more likely to just strangle you, and that's only happened 3 times. Mike stared at Lucius in bewilderment. They're not in mental facilities because there's nothing anyone can do and the children love them, so the boss decided to just keep them here, where they won't hurt anyone, as long as the night guards are careful and don't let them wander outside. Is there anything else I should know? Mike huffed. Well, yes, you can see where they are on the cameras, although the one in the kitchen is broken, so if you can't see them anywhere, that means it's probably a good idea to close the doors, but you have limited power because the area's been having electricity problems, so you can't keep the doors closed. If the power goes out, the doors go up, and Frederick moves around the most when it's completely dark, so that means you're pretty much screwed. I've heard that Fred's the worst, so you should really try to conserve power. There are 2 cameras you need to check frequently. The one in Pirate Cove, because Raphael sleeps there, and won't move around if the camera's on him. And the one in the hallway to your left, because that's the only warning you'll have if Frederick's coming to get you. If Benjamin or Charlie are coming for you and you can't see them, use the lights for the doorways. If they're there, shut the doors until they go away. And that's everything I need to know. Lucius paused before replying. Yes, that's all. That's all I need to survive, at least. Mike sighed, knowing that he now had to stay because he'd already accepted the job and there was no one else to do it. Okay, thanks, I guess, and wish me luck, seeing as it's nearly midnight. Good luck, Lucius smiled, trying to be comforting. The office is through here. Lucius pointed to a door, and Mike thanked him again before going to get settled in. This was going to be a long night.
God.
That was chapter 1.
That was the worst prologue ever.
Yeah, just a prologue.
Night 1's gonna be a fucking pain. It's not even the game, it's a fucking...
Okay, I thought this was called 5 Sexy Nights at Freddy's.
It is 5 Sexy Nights. It hasn't been night 1 yet.
I know, it says they're going to eat you alive. Okay, it's either they're eating the human or they're eating other sections.
Pretty much right, the story is...
If you get my meaning.
If they are not pleased, they will eat them alive.
So basically they have sex with you, and if they're not pleased, they eat you.
I think so. And I think it's a different animatron each night. And there's only 4 of them, which confuses me.
Wait, what?
Because there's only 4 animatrons, right?
Yeah.
Well, 5 if you count Golden Freddy. But
Golden Freddy? What?
Have you not seen Golden Freddy?
No.
Oh my god.
No, every YouTuber I've watched, they have only done night 1 or 2, not night 3.
Golden Freddy isn't in night 3. You can come at any night.
I know, it says I don't know.
It's like a glitch
Who's Golden
thing.
Freddy?
Golden Freddy's a glitch thing. You have to like look at this poster, and if it changes, then Golden Freddy will get you. And you can't really stop him. But there's like 4 animatrons, right? Foxy, Freddy, Bonnie, and Chica. There's 4. Okay. Why is there 5 nights in this story? I feel like there's gonna be some sort of orgy.
Actually, technically, there's a secret.
Yeah, I know.
6th night.
There's 7 nights, Nathan.
Oh, there's 7.
Yeah. I don't know if I got it right. There's 7 nights. No, but I mean, like, there's 4 in this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then each night there's a different animatron that kind of does the sexy shit. There's 5 nights, and there's going to be some sort of orgy on the 5th night. So...
What are they going to do on the 6th and 7th night?
I don't even know.
What, and the last one he gets eaten
They're going to get random guys in from outside. Just next chapter go.
Or Lucius gets involved.
Oh my god. He's going to be there. He's just going to watch through the window. Next chapter go.
Oh wait, we're doing all of this in one?
Yeah.
Okay, so now chapter 1.
Chapter 2.
We're going to do like a little caption or something, like presenting.
Yeah, tell them that.
Just cut that out.
I'm not cutting things out, I can't be asked.
Wow, you're lazy kid.
Oh, probably will.
You lazy git.
Oh.
Night 1.
Yeah, I've already read down.
What?
I've already read down.
You've read the entire thing before.
Yeah, but I haven't read it, like, recently. Oh my god, I've read down again.
Okay, let's go. 4 hours had passed already. Mike honestly felt that it had gone quickly, despite the occasional fright that Benjamin gave him. The man's red eyes were terrifying in the darkness of the restaurant, and he looked completely psychotic when bathed in the harsh light of the doorways. Charlie was just wandering through the building, though he hadn't yet entered either hallway leading to the security office. Frederick was nowhere to be seen, but Mike guessed that he just wasn't active yet. Raphael was moving around inside Pirate Cove, but Mike had apparently been watching him enough to keep him idle. Okay. Mike put down the screen that displayed the camera's views, resting it on his lap so he could rub his eyes. When he looked back at the screen, he knew something was off. He flicked through the cameras, getting more frantic as he did, but Benjamin was nowhere to be found. Mike looked up from the screen, knowing that Benjamin was in the doorway, and reached for the button to close the door, but his wrist was grabbed by a pale hand with black painted nails. Benjamin was already there. Mike looked up, terrified, into the bloody red eyes. Benjamin's smile was one of malice and sadistic joy. It made a chill creep up Mike's spine. The hand moved up to his throat, and Benjamin pulled him by his shirt, practically throwing him to the floor. Mike landed on his back, and suddenly he was being straddled.
This is horrible. Why are you reading this?
Benjamin ground their crotches together,
Shut up.
eliciting a shocked gasp from Mike. Suddenly, Benjamin pulled Mike up and then pulled him closer so he was forced to go onto his hands and knees to prevent injury. Benjamin placed a hand on the back of Mike's head, grabbing a fistful of hair to control him, and pushed Mike's head closer to his crotch. Mike could feel the heat through Benjamin's trousers. He figured that his best means of survival would be to convince Benjamin that he was worth more alive, even if that meant becoming some sort of sex slave during the night. So Mike reached up to undo the button of Benjamin's trousers.
Wait a sec. So he was a guard, in 4 hours he became a sex slave.
Yes. His eyes flickered up to see how the feral male reacted, and he had a look of curiosity on his face. Mike turned back to Benjamin's trousers and leaned forward to take the zipper between his teeth. He deliberately pulled it down slowly and was thankful that he wasn't encouraged to speed up. Once the zipper was all the way down, Benjamin let go of Mike's hair so he could push his trousers down, revealing a pair of black silky boxers.
I don't want to go on.
There was a slight wetness where the head of Benjamin's cock was resting, and Mike decided to take it into his mouth.
This is not YouTube video worthy.
Through the fabric. Benjamin growled quietly, and his hips twitched forward. Mike looked up, and upon seeing a less malicious smirk on Benjamin's face, felt a little more confident about surviving this encounter. So I want to read on.
There's not that much left, just keep going.
Mike,
This is only night 1.
Mike was a little embarrassed to admit that servicing other males normally aroused him.
So he's already a sex slave.
And despite the situation, he was definitely feeling a heat growing in his crotch.
Isn't this some sort of rape? What's going on?
This isn't rape because he's liking it right now. In fact, the situation just seemed to arouse him more. See? Benjamin was definitely getting harder, his cock now making a tent in his boxers. So Mike decided to go a little further. He reached up and yanked down Benjamin's boxers, causing a 5.5-inch cock to spring out.
That's what I read when I read down.
Mike first went for Benjamin's testicles. He took each ball into his mouth, one at a time, and sucked on them, earning loud moans from Benjamin. Mike moved upwards, kissing Benjamin's cock from base to tip.
Oh my god!
And when he reached the head, he teased the narrow slit with his tongue. Mike looked up at Benjamin to see how he was reacting, and he found, much to his delight, that the feral male had a look of ecstasy on his face.
That's great.
He looked down the bloody red eyes, meeting Mike's ashen grey ones, and suddenly looked irritated that Mike had stopped. He placed his hand on Mike's head again, letting out a demanding growl as he pulled his head closer.
I can't even imagine this. That's what's happening.
I can for home. There are lots of images going on in my mind right now.
Oh my god.
Mike smirked, and perhaps a little too happy to oblige. Took the head.
What did you say? Oblige?
Yes, that's what it means. That's
Where?
how it's oblige. Happy to oblige.
It says oblige.
It's pronounced oblige.
It's pronounced oblige, I'm pretty sure.
Oblige.
It's not pronounced like that. It's pronounced like oblige. We were going on the internet and we were sorting out. It's actually pronounced oblige.
No one can tell us. Took the head of Benjamin's cock into his mouth.
Oh my god.
He sucked lightly at first,
Oh my god.
but then decided to take Benjamin deeper.
Oh my god.
It wasn't
We've been
difficult.
going for this for 16 minutes.
It wasn't difficult, considering that Benjamin wasn't particularly long or thick, but it was still a pleasant feeling when Mike managed to take Benjamin down to the base. When he did, Benjamin growled happily, and then placed both hands.
This out loud and people in the house.
And then placed both hands on Mike's head to keep him in place while he thrust in and out of the night guard's mouth. Benjamin was slow at first, but his pace increased quickly, though Mike was able to deal with the cock ravaging his mouth and throat. This is the most detailed sex scene in the world. Mike himself couldn't resist the burning heat in his crotch.
Oh my god, you know... Oh
So
god.
he reached down, undid the button and zip on his trousers, and slipped his hand inside his boxers to start stroking his own erect member.
I can't believe we saw
His own erect member.
I can't believe we saw 5 paragraphs.
Apparently pleasuring himself made him better at sucking Benjamin's cock, because Benjamin was getting wider and noisier. Wait, what? Oh, sorry, wilder. Wilder, not wider.
Also, okay. Doesn't really make sense, but what can you do?
It wasn't long before the feral male buried his cock as far as it would go into Mike's throat. Mike continued to suck even when he could feel Benjamin's cock pumping semen into his throat.
Man, we are right weirdos reading this.
Pedos. He just obediently swallowed
I didn't say
it.
that, I said right weirdos.
Oh, I said pedos.
Oh my god.
He just obediently swallowed it down, relishing the taste.
Oh my god, this is too hard.
There's still 4 more paragraphs to read.
2 of them are long.
Benjamin pushed Mike away once he was sated, but something else entered his wild mind when he saw that Mike had been jacking off. With a smirk, Benjamin pushed Mike onto his back and knelt between the night guard's legs.
I can't keep a straight face through this.
Mike was a little surprised that Benjamin had decided to return the favour, but he wasn't going to complain. Benjamin proved to be very good at fellatio.
Oh my god, there's no way.
Because Mike
Stop
didn't
reading.
because Mike didn't take long to climax. He arched into Benjamin's mouth and moaned loudly as he came. Benjamin apparently wasn't as used to blowjobs as Mike, because he seemed a little surprised when Mike came in his mouth. He withdrew quickly, allowing Mike's semen to drip from his mouth. He looked a little confused for a second, but then started cleaning up the mess with his tongue, seemingly enjoying the taste.
Right, I just want to stop it right there. I don't feel like this is something that should be going on YouTube. Keep
PewDiePie
going.
does it.
Oh my god, just keep going. Yeah, but he reads fan pictures, they're not this detailed.
When Benjamin was finished,
Oh my
he
God.
gave Mike a violent glare. For a moment, Mike was worried that his willingness to service the suits, or at least Benjamin, had not been enough to evade death. He flinched when Benjamin reached out to him, but was surprised when instead the feral male helped him up. Benjamin gave Mike one last smirk before leaving, and Mike, not quite sure if he truly had escaped death or not, remained frozen in place. It was a few seconds before he remembered that Benjamin was not the only one in the building, so Mike sat down again to view the cameras. The rest of the night was quiet. Benjamin simply retired to his room, where Mike assumed Frederick still was, and Charlie followed suit shortly before 6 o'clock arrived. Raphael remained in Pirates Cove, moving about a little, but he, too, settled down as the sun rose. Mike was quite happy with this first night, even if he had possibly nearly died. He prayed that should he encounter one or more of the other three, sexual subservience would be enough to stop them from taking his life. So, that is chapter 1, night 1.
And then we'll do chapter 3 in the next part.
Technically it's chapter 2.
Yeah.
Or just night 2 anyway.
Mhm. That was disgusting.
21 fucking minutes reading sex.
We just read porn.
So...
I've been playing with this for the whole thing,
yeah, you're playing with ball.
Yeah, I know, Nathan. I figured that halfway.
Okay, so we will be doing the next one. We'll also give a link to the
Do they even want the link? That's the question.
Okay, I'm gonna put a link in the video. In the description. Wait, the link to the actual page that we're reading. If you want to read it. Her face. I'm sort of surprised. I thought he would be fucking raped.
I'm trying to contemplate about what's happened.
He was raped. He gave him a blowjob. He came in his mouth.
They both came each other's, Nathan. I don't think you realise that.
I'm surprised I wasn't more.
Why am I here? I should be in the other room.
I'm surprised I wasn't more.
Mhm. That's
you know
it,
what I'm
then.
talking about.
I don't care. That's it. I'm done.
Bye, guys.
I'm so done with life.